Welcome to Tutorials Point. In this video, we will understand how to track different page elements using Google Tag Manager. First, page view tracking. Page views are very much important to a product marketer. In such scenario, we can create a tag which tracks the page views on your blog. Outbound link tracking. If there is a link which is taking the user away from your blog, it is called outbound link. We will create a tag to see how many visitors are going away from your blog. Next, auto events. Your browser has certain internal auto events. We can use a tag and the specific trigger combination to have these auto events tracked. Next, form submissions. On your blog, if at all you have any contact us or search form, you can create a tag to track the clicks on that form or track the submissions in that particular form. Let us see step-by-step instruction to achieve this all.
Now let us understand how to create a page view tag. A product marketer needs to understand the count of visitors for the blog. This is really critical as it helps the marketer the visitor trend. Considering page view carries an enormous importance in understanding the likability of the blog, let us see how a page view can be tracked using a tag. As we have already seen, we will click on Add New Tag. A panel from right will slide in. Provide a name to your tag. We are providing the name Page View Tag. Click on this button to begin the setup for tag configuration. We are going to track the page view in Google Analytics, so click on Google Analytics Universal Analytics. Once the value is selected, you need to get the Google Analytics tracking ID. Check this box, Enable Overriding Settings in this tag. To get the tracking ID, go to Google Analytics, click on Admin, and from Admin under Property Settings, click on the tracking ID and copy it. Paste this tracking ID in the space provided. Click Save. It will ask you to add a trigger. Click on the blue Add Trigger button and click All Pages. This is a trigger of type page view which is required for our tag. Then click Save. As a result, the new tag will get created. This new tag is visible below. Now enter the debug mode by clicking the gray preview button. Once the preview mode is kicked in, that is the debug mode starts, you are able to see this orange bar. Go to Blogger and click on View Blog. Your blog will open up with a section below which will be the debug mode for Google Tag Manager. As we can see, this page view tag is now fired on this page. Now, how we will understand whether a visitor is being tracked? Let us go to Google Analytics and click on this button, Home. As we are able to see here, there is one active user. Click on Real-Time Report. In Real-Time Report, you will be able to see one visitor who is active and when that visitor has visited the website or blog. It is showing the location as well. In this way, we have created a tag in Google Tag Manager, got a visit on our blog, and it got tracked in Google Analytics. Hope this helps the understanding for creating a page view tag using Google Tag Manager. Let us understand how to create outbound link tags. The links which are going away from your blog are called outbound links. Many times there will be certain promotional offers for which a user will be required to leave the blog. Along with the promotional offers, there can be some third-party surveys that a user may be required to take. For this purpose, it is useful to have tracking enabled on how many times the link is getting clicked and user is directed away from your blog. Let us go to step-by-step instructions on configuring the outbound link tag. First, we will create an outbound link on our blog. We have created an external link on our blog which will go to google.com. Let us come back to Google Tag Manager interface and configure our link tag. Go to Tags from the left hand side panel, click on the red button New. It will start the new tag wizard. Enter the name for your tag. Once the name is provided, click on this button under Tag Configuration. Select Google Analytics Universal Analytics. Last time for page view, we had kept track type as page view. Now modify it to event. Once you click event as track type, certain options will get displayed. Now we need to fill some values under these options. So follow these values. Under category, enter outbound. Under action, enter click. For label and value, keep the options empty. Next, for non-interaction hit, set false. By checking enable overriding settings in this tag, enter your Google Analytics tracking ID. Please note that the tracking ID will be different in your case as the Google Analytics account will be different. Scroll down to configure the triggering. Click on the circle to get into the triggers. Now the current trigger is for type page view, but we need the trigger for clicks. So click this blue plus icon to create a new trigger. A custom trigger panel will open. Provide a name to your trigger. Once the name is provided, click on this circle to begin the trigger setup. We need a click. There are two types of clicks provided under trigger type, all elements and select just links. Once selected, configure the trigger to fire on some link clicks. We don't want the trigger to get fired on all the links. That's why we are changing it to some link clicks. Now, configure the trigger to fire when the click element contains our link. It is important to give the / after the URL in order for it to get detected. So, we have provided a condition of click element to contain https www.google.com. Save this trigger. It will come back to the tag configuration screen. We are done with configuring our tag. Click Save. It is time to see our tag in action. Click on the gray preview button so that the debug mode will start. Once the orange bar is shown, you can go ahead to your blog and refresh the page. Orange bar is shown. Let us go to our blog and refresh the page. Once the page is refreshed, the Google Tag Manager debug window will be shown at the bottom of the screen. Now, we are going to click on the external link and we will be able to see a tag fired here. As shown in this summary section, the tag external link tag is not fired. Let us see how it gets fired. Press and hold Ctrl and click on the external link. As a result, Google will open a new tab and the tag external link tag will get fired. The purpose of pressing Control button was to open the link in new tab so that the page will not get refreshed and we will be able to see tag getting fired. On close observation, you will see that gtm.linkClick is another action that is pushed into the data layer of Google Tag Manager. This concludes the instructions for creating outbound link tags. Hope this video adds value to your knowledge. Let us see what are auto events. In a browser, whenever there is an action which is different than page load, it is termed as auto event. To track these kind of events, we can use Google Tag Manager. A browser has a specific response to any action that you take on that page. For instance, the action can be as simple as clicking on a link or submitting a form. We can easily track the events generated in the browser with Google Tag Manager. It records the responses from browser for potential action, thereby getting the particular event tracked easily. We are going to see link click as an example to see event tracking in action. We are going to create a link which will be pointing towards our blog. Let us check our blog for the internal link. As we can see here, an internal link is available. We have diverted this link to our blog itself. Now let us see how to create a tag which will track the clicks on this link. Let us go back to Google Tag Manager interface, click Tags, and as always, click on the red New button. Provide a name to your tag. Once the name is given, click on the tag to begin setup. Click Google Analytics Universal Analytics and provide your Google Analytics tracking ID. Modify the track type to event. Some more options will be displayed. Enter the values as shown. Provide category as internal and action as click. Leave label and value sections empty and non-interaction hit as false. Let us go and create a trigger. After clicking on the circle, you will be able to see the triggers used so far. We need to create a new trigger for this example. Hence, click on this blue New Trigger button. Provide a name to your trigger. Once the name is given, click on the circle to get a trigger type as just links. Under just links, we are going to select some link clicks and we will say click URL. Click URL will be a specific condition which will have our blog URL. So we will enter click URL contains the URL for our blog. Once the URL is entered, click on the blue Save button. It will come back to tag configuration and now save your internal tracking tag. To go ahead, click on the gray preview button. This will invoke the debug mode. Once the orange bar is displayed, you can go to your blog and refresh the page. A Google Tag Manager debug window will be shown at the bottom. It will show the newly created internal tracking tag under Tags Not Fired on This Page category. We now need to click on this link so that the internal tracking tag can be fired. We will use Control button to click on this link so that we will be able to see tags getting triggered in this section and also we will be able to see the link opening in the new tab. So press and hold the control button and click on the internal link. As a result, internal tracking tag will be fired. This is how we can create internal tag. In this example, we tracked the event which was originating from the browser and redirecting back to your blog. In the similar way, you can find multiple other examples for your own purpose. Let us see how to track form submissions using Google Tag Manager. More often than not, on any website or blog, you will see a form which will capture certain details from user. It is important to know how many times user was able to fill the information in the form and how many times user came across an error. Let us get into the steps for creating tag for form submissions. For the purpose of this tag, we will be changing the design of our blog. To do that, go to Theme. Once the page loads, scroll down to section named Simple. Click on the first option and then click Apply to Blog. It will apply the theme to your blog. You can go and check the blog by clicking on View Blog button. As you can see, the complete look and feel of the blog is now changed. Go back to Blogger and then click on Edit HTML. In the first part of installation of Google Tag Manager on the blog, we had taken certain steps where we added Google Tag Manager code under header tag and body tag. We will be adding the same code here as well. Once you have copied the code, please make a point to rename %L to %AMP:. Then click on Save Theme orange button. The theme will get saved and Google Tag Manager is now installed on the blog with the new theme. Now let us go back to Google Tag Manager interface and understand how to proceed with form submission tag. First, we will have to enable a variable which is a built-in variable form ID. Click the red configure button. Once clicked, from the right panel, check select form ID from forms. Once selected, it will immediately get reflected in built-in variables. Close the right panel. It's time for us to create a new trigger. Go to Triggers and click on red New button. Provide a name to your trigger. Next, let us choose a trigger type. Scroll down under User Engagement, click on Form Submission. Keep the trigger to fire on all the forms. Click the blue Save button to save this trigger. It is time to create the tag. Go to Tags and then click on red New button. After clicking on New button, provide a name to your tag. Then click Choose a tag type and select Google Analytics Universal Analytics. This will be selected for track type as page view. Change it to event. Now under category and action, there are certain values to be entered. Follow the values exactly. As shown, under category, enter form submissions and under action, enter form submitted. Under label, click on the button. The right panel will show up wherein you will select form ID. Then you need to enter your Google Analytics settings or tracking ID by check selecting this option. Enter your tracking ID. Once the ID is entered, click Save button. It will ask you to add a trigger. Select the newly created trigger, Form Submission Trigger. Click the Save button again. Your new tag is now ready to be used. But for this tag to work, we need to create a form on our blog. We don't have any form here, so we are going to create a search bar. To do that, go to Blogger under Layout. We will be adding a new gadget, which will be a search box. It will be a blog search box. You can do that by clicking on this Add a Gadget button. Once clicked, select Blog Search, which is the third option. It will ask you to provide a name. If you want, you can rename or keep it as is. Click the orange Save button. The page element is added and you can see the blog with the blog search form. It is time to enter the debug mode from Google Tag Manager. As always, click on gray preview button. Wait for the orange bar to get displayed. This will indicate debug mode is now on. Once you can see this message, go to your blog and refresh the page. The Google Tag Manager debug mode will appear if the code is correct and debug mode is on. Provide it some time to refresh. The screen will show up the Google Tag Manager section. This is the debug mode. Once the page is loaded, it will show the tags which are fired and tags which are not fired. As we can see here, Form Submission tag, which is recently created, it is under Tags Not Fired category. Now let us see how to fire it. Hold Ctrl button on keyboard and click Search. It will be a blank search, but it will act like a form submission. As you can see here, Form Submission tag is now under Tags Fired on this page. In this way, any page element which is of the form category, you can track using Google Tag Manager. Thank you so much for watching this video.